let's talk about Auroville.
Yeah, and that's the Auroville project.
Yeah.
Uh,
So can you please introduce Auroville in a nutshell?
Sure. So Auroville is this community formed of international people, but located in India, geographically located in the southern part of India near a French ex-colony of Pondicherry. It has its roots in spiritual inclination because in Pondicherry there was this spiritual ashram established by Sri Aurobindo, and he had a partner and a follower, Mirra Alfassa, who's known as Mother. And then at some point, Mother realized that she needs to build something separate from the ashram itself, because ashram, as we were talking about earlier, it started becoming a bit bureaucratic.
Yeah.
The ashram was established also more for the Indian people who had a more spiritual inclination
Yeah.
than an alternate way of living inclination. While the Western people who were coming in, they were not able to fit into this box. So she created this Auroville as a separate society in 1968, and this year is their 50th anniversary of existence, of healthy existence, I would say. So that's there. Auroville as a society is very highly evolving in terms of systems, in terms of processes, in terms of things that they do. And that largely comes because they don't have any centralized notion of what it should be. So what I find beautiful is that they have a very strong notion of questioning things, of complaining. So it starts with, first you start to question whatever is there, whatever system, whatever process is there, people strongly question it. Do we need that?
Yeah.
And if they don't need it, if they don't find the correct answer, they do complain about it very strongly. Now, this happens in the rest of the world also, or largely not. I feel India as a society has stopped complaining. We have become so complacent because of so many other struggles in life that we don't complain about the existing things that are there. But in rest of the world, the concept of complaint is there,
Yeah.
but then that complaint does not go anywhere. It just
Yeah.
remains as a complaint and it just drowns away.
Yeah.
In some
So,
places,
energy.
it just
wastes
disappears.
energy,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. But in some places, it does gets acknowledged, and then you see the impact.
Yeah.
So I find Dutch society very beautiful in this way, is that people do complain a lot about things here, but then those complaints are collected, they are gathered, they are looked into it, and that is, I believe, that is how Netherlands is number 2 in terms of innovation. Because when you have complaint, then you have to solve them, and when you try to solve them, you come up with innovative products. So you are constantly questioning and complaining, and that is where my part of my research focuses strongly on the notion of a feedback loop. That feedback loop is very important into the whole concept of innovation, and Auroville has this, strangely, without realizing, they have it very strong. So all their systems and processes are designed in such a way that everything is open for a review, everything is open for complaint, but these complaints are also collected, they are registered in a way. They don't just disappear or evaporate over time, they are registered, and again there is a feedback loop on it. So the people who are given the responsibility to handle that particular task or project, they are supposed to respond back on these complaints, come up with a new solution, and that new solution is again open for a review and feedback.
Yeah.
So this is a double feedback loop that they create, and that has made them pretty strong in terms of the decisions they have taken, that they don't usually regret them. There have been some instances where it was not well thought of, but most of the time, any action they have taken, they did not have to reverse that action. They did not have to retrace it because it was so well thought of. So that's one part of the Auroville. But primarily, Auroville has these 4 points as its charter that you can see on their website also. Is that the first is the concept of non-ownership.
Yeah.
So that changes dynamically many things, because we as humans are constantly brought up with this notion that this is my land, this is my house, this is my space, this is what I own, and that is mine. So that was where the primary contract started. Auroville completely removed that the entire Auroville belongs to Auroville Foundation, as a community, and every member is a part of that foundation. So it belongs to everybody, but it does not belong to any person individually. So even if you want to join an Auroville as a community, Auroville member, and you want to build a house there, you are free to do that. I mean, after going through the process a bit, you fund for your own housing at times. They will allocate you the land, but the rest of the resources are yours, with a clear notion and a clear signing of the contract that the decision on this house eventually belongs to the community. So if you pass away or if you decide to leave, the house goes back to the community, and no, you can't inherit it. Your kids, your children, or your family next to the kin cannot inherit this. So the moment this is built in very strongly, it alters the whole paradigm. It alters how people relate with each other. It alters how people associate, how people transact with each other. Because no matter what big a house you have, it still belongs to Auroville and not to you. So that was the first thing that they have. The second point on the charter is non-ownership. I may not be speaking in the order.
No religion.
No religion. So they do not. So though you feel a bit spiritual there, it is not a religious sect. It is definitely not a cult. It is not even any kind of sect. People are allowed to practice whatever they want in their homes. But as a community, they do not have any temple or any particular religious domain to
Only
which
a meditation center.
The meditation center is there.
It's totally religious, religion free.
It's absolutely religion free, and it's not even a completely a meditation center. It's just a place to go and be quiet. That's it. So they don't even say you have to focus or meditate there. They don't say anything. The only rule they have is you have to be quiet. That's it. Just silence. It's called a silence chamber. It's not even called a meditation. So you can stand, you can do whatever pose you want, keeping it in the decorum of the environment, but that's it. Then they have a third, one of their charter is about unending education. So about youth and unending education. And that again reflects back to innovation, because when we talk of unending education, is basically it boils down, it distills down to the notion of innovation, in a way of learning, of constantly learning, constantly questioning, constantly looking at things from new perspective. So the big globe, the golden ball as they call it, Matri Mandir, is on solar power since 1997. So the world is realizing the concept of solar power, and how while that big structure is already on solar power since then, since so early on. So Auroville had realized very early on, because of this whole questioning of everything that they do, of how to use energy, what forms of energy they want. So entire Auroville is already carbon positive, in a way that they had, one of the members had built windmills that offset the energy consumption of Auroville. So the entire city of Auroville, electricity is free in Auroville, and they are producing more than they consume. And there's a large usage of solar panels or various other green technologies within Auroville. So this comes again from this unending education charter that they have. I'm not sure if I remember all the points. If you can just look it up, Auroville charter, and it should open the Auroville website. So the first was the non-ownership. Money is not allowed. That is a very important part of how things are structured there.
But we can say that money is not allowed to be the means.
The main goal of Auroville, So it's not like
there is.
So it's not. I mean, people take it differently. People usually who visit Auroville for a shorter period, they criticize it that it says money is not allowed, but they do use money. They have their own Auroville card, a digital form of card where you can use it for various products. But what they basically mean is that Auroville as a place is not not for your economic development. It is for a holistic development. And that is how, again, but because it started from this concept of money is not allowed, so then it was like, okay, so how do we live, how do we survive? So then they built in the concept of a basic maintenance. So as the world is now discovering the concept of basic income, Auroville has been doing it for around last 30 years. Is that every person who was working in Auroville will get a certain amount of money for their basic sustenance. So that amount at the present comes to somewhere around 200 euros per person for adults, and around 100 euros or 100 plus euros for a child. The thing is that the people have to work in certain kind of the jobs that they have. So what they call as the whole Auroville system is divided into two kind of jobs.
But they can switch jobs, so
they can absolutely switch. So I was coming to that point. Yeah, exactly. Agreement. Because every job has nearly the same economic value. People are not stuck in the jobs that they don't like. People actually go for a job that they really like, they really enjoy.
And what they realize that they want to do through their spiritual order.
Exactly. So for their spiritual order, for their skills that they already had, or the skills that they really want to develop. But what happens is that the quality of work and the quality of outcome is very high, because the motivator is not this economic contract. The motivator is not your salary. The motivator is you yourself and the work you enjoy.
I would say that this system allows people to find the passion,
the real passion,
what they want to do in life.
True.
And absolutely. That releases such a potential